What is up out there in podcast land? Welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0, where we get you set up for Saturday and Sunday. Music, movies, TV, and streaming. We will let you know what to watch, what to listen to, and what to avoid at all costs. I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Taping here on the 9th of March, 2022. Of course, this will hit Saturday morning, the 12th of March. As I said, just in time to set you up for your weekend. Next week, big music news. We will have our review of the first night of the spring leg of the Greta Van Fleet Tour. One of those monumental occasions that you tune in for.
That's right. We love giving our concert reviews.
That's right.
And we've got quite a few of them set up for you this year.
Yep. And this is the kickoff, of course.
I gave you the teaser with Volbeat and Ghost.
Yep. And we'll talk more about Ghost later on, too. But for now, of course, as always, music starts things off. We have our weekly, hopefully, which will become weekly, hoping there's not going to be some dry spots.
Yeah. We want an album a week.
And we should be okay for a while. This week, Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, their second album, External Combustion, just came out last Friday. Going to be interested to see what the Conquistador thinks of this album.
Wow. Starting off with Wicked Mind, with the intro to it, I thought we were going to get a reprise of You Wreck Me, Baby. I don't know about you, but that sounded just like it to me.
So. And we've talked about the first song or two that they released off this album, and I have said that he is trying so hard to make this version 2 of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
And he does, but it's also kind of a schizophrenic album on the musical front, because it's kind of everywhere, from the Heartbreakers music, like with Wicked Mind. You go into the second one with Bridget Bardot, which has that Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues feel to it. And then you kind of got the It Is Written, which is pretty much a straight out country song. Lightning Boogie, which is more the rockabilly. It's all over the place musically.
Yeah, you didn't even talk about State of Mind, which is, wow, that's hardcore. That's like Tammy Wynette.
Yeah.
George Jones, like a Conway Twitty, Tammy Wynette duet.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite.
Oh, by far my least
the
favorite.
Worst on
it does not fit on this album at all.
There's a couple that are kind of cringeworthy. State of Mind is one. Cheap Talk I wasn't a big fan of. In This Lifetime was another one that just kind of fell flat with the rest of it.
Yeah, I've got to agree with your assessment. And the sad thing is, the first two releases I did love. And last week we talked about Electric Gypsy.
Yeah.
And I loved that more than you did.
Yeah. That's my third favorite on this
and
one.
Wicked Mind, of course, was a
Wicked Mind
great
is my
song.
favorite. I really like Lightning Boogie, though.
See,
and I like that. It's probably my second favorite on there.
Yeah, Lightning Boogie wasn't one of my favorites, but yeah, I agree with you pretty much. Cheap Talk is awful.
It's
literally think I could pull a third grader out of class, rip his COVID mask off, and tell him, "Can you write me like 10 or 12 lines that rhyme?" And it would be better than this shit.
No kidding.
I mean, Cheap Talk is literally one of the worst, lyrically, one of the worst songs ever. Now, of course, Mike Campbell's guitar work throughout the album is great.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
And you would expect nothing less. But again, he's trying to bring a group together, to me, again, to sound like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And I think for the most part, it fails miserably.
Yeah, it does. It
And like you
doesn't even
said,
come
it's
close.
schizophrenic. It's all over the place. I will give it a week 2 Frenzies.
Yep. 2 is about all I can do.
And the only reason I'm
for it.
giving it 2, I would have probably gone 1.5, except I listened to it one last time today, probably the 5th time, and I liked it a little bit better.
A little bit, but there's still enough to not like.
Yeah,
Dirty Job
is Dirty Job is
it
interesting.
grows on you.
Yes,
it
with
grows
Ian Hunter.
on you. Yeah,
Ian Hunter. That one grows on you. External Combustion, the title track, also kind of grows on you too.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm like, really, this is bad for the title track, but another listen or two, and it's better.
Yeah, it is written, again, another terrible song with awful lyrics.
Yeah.
Again, like you said it perfectly. Schizophrenic, highs, lows. It's just a roller coaster for the most part. Too many lows.
They don't know where they want to be.
No, I did not listen to the first album. I don't think I'm going to now. After
this, I don't think I will go back to the first one.
But
I might see what they can do if they do a third to see if they grow at all, but I can't, in good conscience, musically go back and subject myself.
It's too bad. I think if this would have happened 30 years ago, and Mike Campbell could have got himself together with a really good notable singer, instead of just trying to piece together something with this day and age, right, where there's not a lot of available superstars to bring in. And of course, we're going to talk about Skills next.
Unlike Skills,
which of course is the best you're going to get when it comes to a supergroup nowadays.
Right.
Which is our one song review of the week.
Yes. Stop the World. This was a band that the record company put together for the lead singer.
Yes, absolutely. The lead singer, Frontiers Records, number one. I want to give them props because Frontiers Records has been trying to keep these bands, these 80s bands, alive, most notably Night Ranger. President Serafino Perugino. I'm probably butchering that name, but of course they're over in Italy.
Right.
So he found this lead singer, like Dave said, Renan Zonta from Brazil.
Who, diehard 80s metal guy.
Right.
And you can feel that in his vocals. They lend to the genre very well.
I didn't like this song that much.
No?
I didn't. Now, I love Brad Gillis's guitar work.
Oh, the guitar work is phenomenal.
The two big 80s components we're talking about when we say Skills as a quote-unquote supergroup is Brad Gillis from Night Ranger on guitar and Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big and David Lee Roth's first solo band.
Yeah.
Are in this. So that's what kind of got me geeked about it. I want to hear more, but I don't like this as a first single.
See, I didn't mind it all that much.
I don't think this
kid
doesn't seem to me to be the kind of guy where a record label guru would go, oh my God, this guy, he's just so generic to me. This is good, though. This is good.
I could see where you have that, but with this being it's his first foray with a major song with serious musical talent around him, I didn't think it was all that bad. I kind of liked it. I could see the potential for it.
That's what I'm thinking. There could be potential. But I'm going to really need to hear a better, stronger, more rocking effort the next time around.
This lent itself, I think, more that it could have been in Heavy Metal 2.
Now that being said, I have listened to the song probably 20 times because it's a statement on how bad music is right now, where it's better than most of the crap out there. And again, I love Brad Gillis's guitar work, especially the intro is really good.
Yeah.
Again, I want to hear more. I can't give it more than 2 frenzies.
That was going 2.5 for the initial run. There's enough there that I want more. I liked it enough that I would like it to succeed.
Now, let me ask you a question. We got time here before we shift over to movies. Can you think of another band? Because you pointed out that this is the record label president's pretty much his idea to take this kid who he discovered and put him in with a bunch of seasoned veterans and make this quote unquote supergroup. Can you think of any other situation where they've done that before? Now, to me, normally a supergroup, I think of like Asia, where you took pieces from other
great bands to get. Yeah.
Now you've got Arnold Pineda with Journey,
but they're an established band.
Right, you're bringing him in from the outside and just plopping him in. This is a whole
created around.
I can't think of another band like this. I just can't. And again, drop us a line, go to our Facebook page, let us know if you can think of one.
Usually it's the band that comes together that tries to find the singer.
Right. But not all the pieces being brought in from other places. Or you have a
singer and a drummer, or a singer and a guitarist trying to fill. But usually you don't have the singer and build that way.
Right. And usually you would think, at least back in the day when these guys were making a ton more money, these guys would not leave their home gigs, let's say that.
Right.
Brad Gillis would not leave Night Ranger to do this back in the 80s when Night Ranger was pulling in millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. The only time he really, quote unquote, left was to go on tour with Ozzy after Rhodes passed away.
Right.
And he was filling in.
Right.
And God, who wouldn't turn that opportunity down?
Right. Yep. So,
but
think about it, kids. Let us know. That's our music segment for the week.
Short and sweet.
Now, we do have a couple tour tidbits. Of course, Dave and I are mostly beer drinkers on the occasion. We'll take a shot of whiskey, but of course, Kiss is now coming out with cold gin.
It was only a matter of time.
But it's not their first. I guess they have 3 other concoctions out there.
But what took them so long to pull Kiss's cold gin?
I don't know. Well, because Ace, I guess, never drank gin. Ace is like us. Ace Frehley, even though he has had issues with alcohol.
Yeah.
He is a beer drinker. That was what got him into trouble, is he just drank so much beer. He says, I wrote cold gin. I don't know why, it just sounded cool, but I don't like gin. I don't drink gin.
Yeah, but you would think with the marketing of Paul and Gene, the marketing
machine of Kiss, yeah.
The Gene and Paul being as in tune as they are, pimping everything possible, that it took them this long.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-boggling.
Right. Again, they have 3 other liquors out there, but this is obviously the first one that's just perfect in terms of a fit. And I think you if you pre-order it or go to their website, you get a free guitar pick or a bonus guitar pick.
Ooh.
It's like $40 a bottle.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't like gin, so there you go.
Of course, tour news. Dave and I talked about this. Of course, we can't do it. It sucks. Just announced today, Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush going out on tour.
Yeah, the timing does not lend itself for us.
It does not work at all for us. a midweek concert right after, the day after another concert. So hopefully some of you will be able to go out there and enjoy it. Skid Row and Warrant are going out together.
Very interesting.
Leonard Skinner will not retire, even though we thought we were seeing them on their last tour. They've got 14 more dates scheduled.
Good Lord.
And ZZ Top is going out.
Just the two. Ouch. I know why they want to do it in Dusty's memory, but I just don't know that it's going to have that.
Well, the thing is, I think if you and I had better memories of when we saw them, we got free tickets to go see them in Cheap Trick.
Right.
But that was, an hour and 15-minute show. That was with Dusty, and that was really a letdown. They was sharp for an hour and 15, but you expect more.
Right.
You really expect more.
We actually should have seen them about 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah. Now, I saw them back in the early 80s. So I've seen them twice, and they were decades apart.
Yeah.
Just like Guns N' Roses, who we saw last year. Decades between
the times
it's
all
them.
Timing.
Yep. So for next week, I'm thinking you need to listen to the new Aldo Nova song, For Your Mind. He's supposedly finally going to release this long gestating rock opera.
Oh, God.
That he's been working on for 15 years called The Life and Times of Eddie Gage.
Oh, God.
Another great Corey Taylor cover released this week. Acoustic version of Lunatic Fringe.
Ooh.
Second single from Red Hot Chili Peppers. New album, Poster Child. This one I'm going to throw in for fun. He's going to hate it.
I'm going to fucking kick you in the balls.
Jack White's new song, Heidi Ho.
Hidey, 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 ho. Hidey, 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 hidey.
I think he's got a special guest appearance from Q-Tip. I want to hear what you think of that song.
Oh, God, that does not sound good.
Now, of course, like I said, we're going to review Greta Van Fleet in concert next week. I think for once, I hate to do this because I like to do things simpatico. You and I both review the same thing. I think next week, in terms of album reviews, we should split for 1 week. We
could do that.
I think you would be better served to review Ghost's new album.
Oh,
Impera,
yes.
While I review The Tipping Point from Tears for Fears. I think I'm better off keeping.
Yes.
I think that works.
That works beautifully.
I think that will work out
because
fine for us.
I've listened to a few things off this new Ghost.
Yes, and I think we
where
will be very
musical
happy.
Tastes veer.
Once in a while it happens.
Yes. You are more apt for Tears for Fears. I am more apt for
I
Ghost.
have already listened to The Tipping Point, and I can tell you right now, I do not want you listening to it. I don't want to suffer the grief when I dragged you to see Dave Matthews Band. I don't want to go through that ever again.
I will not subject you
to Ghost.
To Ghost because I know that is not your speed.
I'm saving. We'll get back together in 2 weeks, and we'll review the new Bryan Adams in 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
So there we go. All right, it's time for Uncle Kev's story time. Every once in a while, your Uncle Dave and I like to do this, where we bring in reviews of past movies, TV shows, albums, when it ties into something
that happened to us personally recently.
Right. So I have a story time when it comes to movies. We're moving into movies because we shorted movies last week, needed more time, so we're going to devote a segment and a half to movies. Now, Dave will like this one. I'm going to start off with a news item from this past week, which will lead me into story time. Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Parker in Play Dirty, an adaptation of the Richard Stark, aka Donald Westlake novel. Supposedly the first in a series, a reuniting of the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang team outside of Val, of course, Val Kilmer's.
Right, dealing with his own issues.
Now, here's where it gets into story time.
I like the concept.
But here's the thing, Mr. Book, Mr. Library, Mr. I read 15 books a week, and Kev gets through one every 2 months, and I degrade him for it.
I do not read 15 a week.
Have you ever read any of the Richard Stark books?
I have.
You have, okay.
I have.
So, as you know, I did not know this. I'm assuming you know this. Maybe you don't.
I probably don't.
There are already 4 movies out there that are adaptations of Richard Stark novels. Now, Richard Stark is the pseudonym for Donald Westlake.
Right.
And he has since passed away. So the series is done. The last book was Ask the Parrot. Now, Play Dirty, which is, of course, this one we're talking about that Robert Downey is going to star in as Parker, that is the correct name for the character. That has not always been the name they have used in the movies.
Right.
Play Dirty, again, the last book, one of the last books in the series. I looked into this. And of course, 2 of these movies
we've had.
I have watched.
Payback.
One starring
Mel Gibson.
What was the name of the character in Payback?
Do not recall.
Porter. Not Parker.
Not Porter.
Porter. Payback is fantastic. Payback is an unbelievably good movie based on The Hunter. Now, there was another one based on The Hunter. Classic. The first one, which I know you've watched and I know you love. One of the biggest badasses in movie history starred. The name in the movie was Walker in that one.
That was with Lee Marvin.
What was the name of the movie?
Oh, God.
Again, based on the book The Hunter. So both Payback and this movie were based on Richard Stark's The Hunter.
Oh, because Angie Dickinson was in it.
Correct.
Oh, God. Oh, it's right there.
I can't give you 5 minutes, Dave. It's a podcast. We have limitations.
I'm blanking.
Oh, it's going to kill you.
It's
Point blank. Point blank. So
Point was there. I couldn't.
I have watched Point Blank. I have watched Payback. The third, very recent, starring our man Jason Statham, is called Parker. Now this is a 2-part story time. Next week I will have a review of Parker. I've never watched it.
Neither have I. I think
this is based on the book Flashfire, which again is one of the ones towards the end of the Richard Stark series of books. And again, the cool thing about these books is that, like the tagline was for Payback, get ready to root for the bad guy.
Right.
The books are written so that you actually side with Parker. Even though he is a career criminal.
He's a career criminal.
He has a code, though.
Yeah. He's out for himself, but he will do the right thing.
He's loyal to his friends. He's loyal to the women in his life, as long as they don't double cross him.
Right. Don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you.
So next week, Parker.
I think we have to try and find it. I know I've got it. Parker.
So that's part 2 of Storytime. Part 1 is the final movie that I did not know about. I knew about these other three. I did not know about this one. Here's where my movie expert friend, my brother from another mother, who claims to be the ultimate expert, and he is much more versed on 60s and 70s movies than I am. This is 1973. This was the fourth, a movie called The Outfit.
That I have not seen.
The Outfit is the fourth of these movies based on a Richard Stark novel. Now, the character's name in this is Macklin.
Who is the...
Robert Duvall.
Really?
And his friend in this movie who helps him out, Joe Don Baker.
Son of a... Damn, that's a...
So I had to watch this. I had to watch this the other night.
The Outfit. Yes. I will have
and it is a down and dirty. Karen Black is in it. It's basically... I don't want to spoil anything for you. It's basically a Parker and his buddy, or in this case, Macklin. Again,
yeah,
I'm calling him Parker because that's the character's name in all the books. But in this, he's Macklin going up against the Outfit, this mafia, this crime syndicate who did something to him that's unforgivable.
Wronged him.
So it basically goes back and forth between him trying to get revenge, them hitting back, him hitting back, them hitting back.
I like
so this. There is not a lot of plot depth to it. I'll admit that.
No, it's just a straight out revenge. Right. Revenge.
But the characters are smart. You like them. You understand why they're doing what they're doing. I'll give it
the cast.
2.5 frenzies. Strong 2.5. It's not as good as Payback. Not as good as Point Blank. But if you can find The Outfit, I don't know if you can.
I'll give it a shot. One never knows. Parker,
so we complete this 4-movie round table.
Yes.
Of these Richard Stark Parker movies. And again, I have read Flashfire, so I'm looking forward to reading or seeing Parker.
This will be good.
And I have read Play Dirty, this one that Robert Downey's supposed to be in, which will be the 5th.
Yeah.
So yes, a very convoluted, complex story time from Uncle Kev, which we'll wrap up next week.
Awesome films for you to delve into.
But again, you got to remember who you're dealing with on this podcast. We love crime movies. We love detective movies. We love mysteries. And
nice segue coming up for what we've got in store for you.
Yes, we have got more action. We have got a connection with these movies as well.
We do.
So stay tuned, kids. Not only for next week, for part 2 of Uncle Kev's Story Time, but for our next movie review segment, which will be Copshop and the 355, and a bonus review from me.
You bastard.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Are you having trouble falling asleep behind the wheel of your expensive SUV? Are you finding difficulty in avoiding golf clubs thrown at you by your angry wife as you pull out of the driveway? Sign up today for the Tiger Woods Driving School, sponsored by Sports Frenzy 2.0. We'll show you how to text ladies of the night while still driving effectively in the wee hours of the morning. We'll also teach you how to ditch a suspicious backpack when you end up driving into a ditch. Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, for updates on our latest classes, including how to curse and swear in front of uptight golf fans and their children and still be adored by millions. The Tiger Woods Driving School. It's great.
Hey kids, crank up the popcorn machine. We've got your movie reviews for you for the weekend. This is the Conquistador Dave Height.
And I'm the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
And this is Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition, coming at you here on March 12th, 2022. We're recording on the 9th. We're going to set you up with a few movies to watch, starting with The 355 on Peacock. A nice little espionage flick, female character driven, from MI6, the CIA, the BND, and the Colombian psychologist.
Yeah. And the WTF? Where do they fit in? This is a movie where I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to be one of those guys that, like with Atomic Blonde or with Mad Max Fury Road with Furiosa, I wanted to have a strong female action character that I could get behind and say, look, I'm not a misogynistic asshole. I actually do like chicks who can actually fight and stand up for themselves. This is not that movie! This is one of the worst action movies I have ever seen in my godforsaken life.
See, where you went in hoping for the best, I went into this with trepidation.
So did you like it more?
It was better than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't that great. There were parts that stood out. It could have been so much more. The script kind of lacked and let you down in a number of places. It got really generic. You had the baseline of the characters that you wanted to root for and like, but they just weren't developed to the point that they should have been.
Could you please tell me which character I was supposed to root for? I will say.
None of them.
I had one.
The MI6 who got pulled into it inadvertently.
No, I did. Looking back at past movies where some of these women, these actresses, have actually been in action movies or espionage movies, I will say Diane Kruger is good.
Yeah, because she's had those past movies where she's been
the German agent.
Right.
She actually looks like she knows what she's doing when she's handling a gun.
She's done the action films before.
The rest of them, Jessica Chastain, I know she's a multiple-time Oscar nominee. She's terrible. Terrible.
She's bad.
How did she get through Zero Dark 30?
I don't know.
Which I've never watched. I don't care to watch it. She's got the squeaky, it's like Betty Boop in an action movie is how she sounds. She's cute. She's good looking. She's got the cleft chin. I don't like that. But she kind of looks like a Bryce Dallas Howard.
No, Bryce Dallas Howard's much better looking.
In the first action scene where she's running around in that flowered white and red dress, I'm like, come fucking on.
Seriously?
Really?
Are we really doing this?
Right.
No, you're right, though. Diane Kruger is the one who is the true action person. Believable.
A person who I think she could fill that role. She could be a badass.
She was the only believable one of the group.
Right. I have told you for years, I can't stand Penelope Cruz, the rat. I can't stand her as an actress. I can't stand the way that her nose almost touches her upper lip. And everybody thinks she's so gorgeous and beautiful. And I'm like, no, she looks like a rat. And all through this movie, all she does is whine and cry. And then
I want to get back to my family. Yes. I want to get back to my family.
I don't want to spoil anything for people. But there is a scene towards the end where things get really tense. And they could have made this a lot darker and a lot better and they copped out.
They,
and it turns on
I know what you're talking
Penelope
about.
Cruz's character.
Yep. I know exactly
They
the
copped
moment.
out, and if they'd gone dark,
it would have made the
at
movie
least
better.
maybe redeemed partially the movie.
Partially. I don't want to see a sequel.
You guys can look up online what the 355 means. They wait till the end to tell you, and I don't care. It doesn't have anything
bad.
to do with anything.
It was pretty.
It just seems like
lame.
A random historic thing that they pulled out of their asses.
Yeah, this was just an attempt to make a female action movie, and they did not do a great job with it. There were moments.
No. But I didn't even find moments in it that were good. I thought it was badly written, badly acted. Again, Diane Kruger
being the exception.
Was the only woman in the cast. There, again, Penelope Cruz, Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o. She's given nothing to do because all she does everything on her phone. Oh my God. I can do everything on my phone. I can solve the world's problems. I'm like, yeah.
No.
She's given nothing to do. And then they bring in Bing Bing Fawn as the fifth member.
Yeah.
Who can barely speak English, and she speaks bad English with a lisp. And it was driving me crazy at the end. I'm sorry, I hated it.
The potential was there. They just failed miserably in the execution.
And I don't want it to sound like we're not. It was like when we reviewed The Harder They Fall. We get the fact you're making an African-American Western, but that was phenomenal. We didn't care about the race of the characters.
No, I don't care.
It was just a great movie. We don't care here about the gender.
It was just a bad movie.
Yes.
From the way that their organizations treated them to the stupidity of the ending.
Oh, the ending was awful.
It was bad. It was.
Awful.
It doesn't matter how they would have done it.
In about how men suck. All the men are bad. All the men are evil.
No,
and the world would be better if we just had these women running it.
No, it just was not a good movie.
One frenzy. That's all I can give this.
I'll go 1.5.
And I'm only giving it 1 because, again, Diane Kruger is the only one that seemed like she knew what she was doing in this movie. And it's a weak one. A weak one. Literally the worst movie I have seen in a long. Well, I know.
No.
I would watch The Power of the Dog again.
Hell no.
This. I would watch The Power of the Dog.
I will watch this again.
At least there's some semblance of a plot.
I will watch this again before I would subject myself to trying Power of the Dog.
So there you go. That tells you how Dave and I feel about this movie.
And about Power of the Dog. It blows goats.
Better than the 355. Better than the 355.
No, we will agree to disagree. All right.
So now we're going to pull in our other review of the week because I want to prove to everybody that at least
you're not a misogynistic bastard?
No, because I want to point out Copshop, which, again, I'm biased. These type of movies I love.
This is our genre. This reminds
me of the old John Carpenter Assault on Precinct 13.
Yes.
And I want to call out Alexis Louder to show that I'm not a sexist pig. She plays the lead cop in this, and she's a badass.
She is phenomenal.
She's a badass. Now, there are plot holes all over the place.
Oh, well, yeah. You've got outside of her and
the bad guys,
the two main bad
guys. On this.
Outside of those three, the other characters are shit.
No. Anthony Lamb.
Right.
Anthony Lamb.
Tony Lamb.
Yeah. Anthony. Yeah, depends on who's calling.
Who's
what.
calling?
Don't call me that.
There's
Anthony.
There's 4 characters that are well written.
Right.
The rest are a joke.
Right. The rest are cannon fodder.
And they're not even good cannon fodder. I mean, the captain, the main guy in the precinct.
All he does is yell and scream and
yell and
curse at
scream.
everybody.
He's a freaking caricature of every 70s cop show lead guy. And that was pathetic. I didn't like that. The secondary guy, just poorly done. But the 4 main overshadow that by far.
Yeah, Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler locked up in cells opposite each other for, again, we're not going to spoil anything, for reasons that become apparent early on.
Oh.
And then again, Alexis Louder, the cop, stuck in the middle, trying to figure out who to trust, if she should trust anybody, while hell is raining down on her
literally
little tiny isolated precinct house.
Yeah. Oh, such a good flick.
I liked it. I did. And again, I'm acknowledging there are a shit ton of plot holes in it.
Oh, there are.
And I'm not going to, I will talk to Dave about them off mic, but there are a lot of plot inconsistencies, but the overwhelming acting, vibe of this movie is really good.
The flow was great. I mean, it just moved and moved.
And you cared who's going to survive, how are they going to survive, who's trustworthy, who's not.
This is one that you got invested in.
Yep.
And you knew who you were pulling for right off the bat, almost.
Now, see, I didn't. That was a thing. I was kind of like going back and forth.
Yeah, I could see that part, but there were a couple of characters throughout that I'm like, all right, I really want to see this go a certain way.
But again, this goes back to what we were talking about in the last segment with the rooting for the bad guy.
Right.
You found yourself at some point in time during the cop shop rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah. You wanted her.
Degrees of bad.
Degrees. No, the pacing, this one moved. You were invested in it. Completely opposite of the 355.
Yeah. I mean, God, don't even compare the two.
No, you can't.
It's a sham to compare.
Copshop is phenomenal. I go 3.5.
I can't go that high, but I give it a strong 3. Because, again, there's so many inconsistencies and things that are driving me nuts. But it's a strong 3 to me. And again, you and I, this is our genre. This is what we love. So we're probably a little bit biased. We
probably are inflating it maybe a little bit.
But I did love it. I watched it twice.
It's a phenomenal flick.
Is how much I loved it.
I am going to go back and watch it and make the boys sit down with me.
Also, they didn't watch it with you. I was hoping they would because I figured they would like it.
No, this was one schedules did not mesh. And I wound up watching it late Sunday night. So, actually, it was late Monday night when I watched.
And I'm telling you, I just find myself with Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler, both those guys.
Boom, 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 back and forth.
And unfortunately, Hulu, that movie I watched with him and Mel Gibson last year. I know you don't have Hulu, and I only had it for a limited time. But man, that was a freaking good movie where it was like a video game.
Nice.
I like Frank Grillo a lot. And of course, he was in the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
As the Executioner?
Yes.
In Captain America?
Uh-huh.
Yes, very good movie. Copshop, very good.
Go out and get Copshop.
It's on Peacock right now.
It's on Peacock. So is a 355. Pick Copshop. You will not be disappointed.
Yes. Definitely, Copshop. Again, Alexis Louder, she's the action hero.
Oh, God, she is so
among the
good.
women this week. She is so much better than any of the women in the 355.
Yeah. Complete badass, believable, played it very well.
Yep.
I want to see more of her doing this type of action.
All right, I do have one more movie review because for some reason this week I was just clicking, streaming, looking, give me something to watch. I decided to watch a horror movie that I have been wanting to watch for a long time. So Dave will probably hate me for this one.
What did you subject yourself to?
No, I'm not saying it was bad. But this is like a quote-unquote legendary horror movie from about 20 years ago. 15 years ago, maybe. The found footage horror movies. Of course, we all know Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, right?
Yeah.
So right in that area, right in that time frame, was a movie called VHS. So VHS is a found footage anthology, and there are sequels out there.
Right.
I plan to watch at least the second one. The premise of VHS, I could talk about this movie for an hour. I'm not saying it's that good. I'm not saying it's that good, but it is.
But it's one that's
so interesting to talk about.
Intriguing to the point
I'm
of
going to
discussion.
tell you the setup, because the setup, I'm not spoiling anything. It's only the first 10 minutes of the movie. So you got a bunch of thugs, a bunch of young punks who terrorize the community they live in. They vandalize buildings, take baseball bats to cars. They attack women in parking garages, lift up their shirts and film it and put it on YouTube. You know, those kind of weirdos, right?
So it's more of a mild Clockwork Orange.
It's got so many. That's a great call. It has so many different influences. That's why I'm saying I could talk about this forever. Again, I'll tell you right now, 2.5 Frenzies. Not fantastic, not bad.
Okay.
But that's a great call. Clockwork Orange. There are so many influences in this. So these thugs get a tip from somebody anonymous asking them to break into somebody's house and steal this VHS tape. Again, we're going back 15, 20 years when VHS tapes actually were relevant. They don't know what VHS tape to take. All they know is the address of the place they're supposed to break into. So they break into the place and they find, of course, hundreds all over the place. Basement, bedrooms, VHS tapes. They find a dead body facing 4 or 5 TV screens. All the TV screens are doing the static, you know, end of day,
end of tape pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
So they decide to split up and look through the house for all the tapes they can find, leaving one guy behind to start watching the tapes that were in the room with the dead body.
Do they know what's supposed to be on it?
No, that's the thing. All they know, they thought there was going to be one tape, which who would own one tape?
Come on. You got to throw somebody a bone here on what they're looking for.
But this is the catch of the movie. This is where you get into the horror part of it, is that the guy starts watching the tapes on the machine with the dead body in the room, and there are all these different creepy tapes. So it ends up being an anthology, basically. 5 different stories, 5 different tapes, where the guy's watching these, and they all have different creepy stuff on them. Each one's about 20 minutes. It's like a night gallery almost. Another thing that popped into my head. You know, where Rod Serling would go around and point out the picture and say, this picture meant this person died in this way, and then they would do the story in Night Gallery. So to me, VHS was kind of like a modern day Night Gallery. Now, some of the stories are really fucking creepy and disturbing, especially the first one. The first one freaked me out beyond belief. And then they kind of get progressively worse as you go through, and weirder and goofier. Since it's voyeuristic, with the...
Yeah, does it have that Faces of Death type vibe in some spots?
No.
Not quite that bad.
I read that people were comparing it to that. It's not that bad.
Okay.
There is a little bit more of a sexual component, not disturbing, but sex weaves its way into a lot of it, but again, it's not like sexual violence, but it's still the voyeuristic, people naked in the bathroom, just you're intruding on their privacy.
Yeah.
And it lends to making some of the stories creepier than they should be. Again, this is a type of movie I could talk about forever. Again, it's very good to a point. I admire what they're trying to do, and I'll watch the sequel. But again, when you're dealing with different stories, some of them are good, some of them suck. Some of them are bloody and nasty, and it reminded me a lot of Saw too, with that feeling I had when I first watched Saw, where I was really creeped out and thinking I shouldn't be watching this.
That
I shouldn't be watching
Cat's Eye type.
Yeah, I shouldn't be watching this. It's like Creepshow and Cat's Eye, except with Saw. Take the level of violence in Saw with the Cat's Eye Creepshow anthology
type.
Yes. Now this is on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it for free.
Right. I may have to subject myself to the debauchery.
Yeah, there's a lot of redeeming qualities, but again, in this context, it gets, you can't enjoy it. Yeah, you can't enjoy it. But I am a fan of the found footage stuff, so for me, this was kind of neat. Again, the voyeuristic quality makes it creepier. So again, 2.5 for VHS.
All right, there you go, kids.
Now we do have a couple tidbits here on the movie side, and then of course we will move on in segment 3 to our TV and streaming and dumbasses. Couple sequels on the way that I'm sure Dave will be extremely happy about. I Am Legend. They're going to make a sequel to that.
Why?
I didn't like
Just
the first one.
Just let it go.
The Omega Man was good enough.
The Omega Man was what should have been left alone. We did not need Will Smith in I Am Legend.
And now they're bringing him back with Michael Jordan.
No.
I didn't even like I Am Legend. That was a waste of my time and money. But here's one that's even worse.
Oh.
A reboot.
I hate reboots.
Well, you're going to really love this one. White Men Can't Jump.
Oh my God, that movie sucked when it first came out. Why in God's name would they try and do it again?
I have no idea. I don't know why the world needs a reboot of White Men Can't Jump.
It was bad when it was first done. And I liked Wesley Snipes and I liked Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
but it was a bad movie.
100% with you. 100%.
It was awful. Oh, God.
I don't know why they think we need this.
Because Hollywood's a bunch of stupid asshats who don't know what they're doing.
I can't say it better than that, so I think that should wrap up segment 2.
God. Pathetic.
We'll come back with some TV and streaming news, and I have got to carry over some dumbasses I missed from last week. So, unlike our regular Sports Frenzy podcast from a couple days ago, I have got a crap ton of dumbasses. So we might actually here on the weekend edition play Dumbass or Not.
Ah, there we go. I have one for you.
There we go. Stay tuned, kids. We'll be right back.
In a world of politically correct sports coverage, two individuals stand alone as the last bastion of sanity. The Maestro and the Conquistador star in Sports Frenzy 2.0, the podcast.
Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. All right, kids, time to wrap up the weekend edition Sports Frenzy 2.0 taping here on March the 9th, 2022. As always, this will hit Saturday morning, the 12th. I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Time to wrap things up. Television, streaming. We got dumbasses. We got moments of silence. We, of course, the one show right now that we are checking in on week after week, as you should as well, is Resident Alien.
The brilliantly written, brilliantly acted,
of course,
sci-fi.
Last Wednesday was episode 6. Tonight, episode 7 drops. Last week was the trip to New York in search of Goliath.
Yep. Harry's fellow alien. We lost the squid.
Yes. I was just telling Dave I am dense because I did not put the Firefly connection together with Nathan Fillion voicing
the squid.
And of course, he was Captain Mal Reynolds on Firefly, where Alan Tudyk was the pilot. So I feel really stupid about that, but a sad moment.
A sad moment, but God, it does not disappoint.
Again, the first couple episodes of season 2 were a little slow, but after it got picked up, it was picking up. The last month has been great.
Yeah. Fabulous. His whole interaction with the two kids. Unbelievable. He's more immature than they are, if that's possible.
Let's just hope this show keeps going on for the next couple years at least.
Please give us a couple more seasons.
Yes, because it doesn't show any signs of losing its creativity or its quality.
No, all the characters are great. They're all well written.
And we'll let you know when it does a Fonzie and
we
jumps
will
the
let
shark.
you know when it jumps the shark. But it is not even close to this point.
No, still, again, I was worried at the beginning when the first couple episodes were a little bit slow.
Yeah, but it's more than made up for it.
Yep. So, David, you have got stuff.
Yes, Mrs. C and I, with the puppy in the household, who does not get a puppy, they said. They sleep 20 hours a day, they said. Balls, I say. Harley likes to be most active from, shall we say, 4 o'clock when Nick gets home from school until closer to 10 at night. And so it's hard to really get into shows that you really want to watch while keeping a puppy entertained. So fluff stuff is a lot of what we're watching, and we've delved into Discovery Plus, going back to Kindred Spirits, a kind of sequel or knockoff from the original Ghost Hunters that used to be on Sci-Fi and then Discovery. So this actually has Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, who were two of the investigators on Ghost Hunters, who always teamed up and they had good chemistry together. They now have their own show, and It's in season 6 or 7 right now. We are into season 2 because we're now going back on Discovery Plus, watching it just to fill the time in the evenings. And we like the supernatural stuff. And whereas Ghost Hunters, you didn't always get something going on, they did a lot of focusing on setting everything up, and they were kind of just there for one night type thing. This, with Kindred Spirits, they talk more with the families they're trying to help. And they're not just there for a day, they're for a few days. And they're investigating, they're doing background work on the area where they're at. They really delve into things a lot more than what you saw on the original Ghost Hunters. So this and they catch some wild shit. It's kind of cool. So definitely like this one better. So it's worth checking out.
Rating or no? Because are you done?
We're in the middle of season 2.
Okay.
So I can't quite go full rating yet, but I will say that it's worth watching to this point.
There you go.
If you like the supernatural stuff and wanting to see weird anomalies, hear the goofy voices that are caught, and they bring in some psychics to kind of delve into things a little bit. So definitely entertaining.
I find it fascinating how we just, as people, not just you, not just me, but most people are drawn to the eerie, like we were talking about VHS.
Yeah.
The
like
disturbing,
the strange, dark, and
right,
mysterious.
Right. It just boggles my mind how we are drawn to that. Shouldn't that be stuff we should just stay away from?
You would think, but it's intriguing. But that's why The Boys got us into, I've talked about him before on YouTube, Mr. Ballin, whose whole thing is, if you're into the strange, dark, and mysterious told in story format, this is your place. Very good. And he started his own podcast, but it's weird stuff that you get creeped out by, but you can't. It's like a car wreck that you see that you can't look away.
Right. Yep. I agree completely. All right, so I have reviewed. I'm going to try to keep my streak going here. This will obviously be the last until season 3 of The Boys starts up. But 2 weeks ago, I reviewed season 1. Last week was season 2. And now the brand new collection of animated shorts, 8 animated shorts, The Boys, Diabolical on Amazon Prime. Similar to what they did with The Matrix, with Animatrix, letting people, other voices, other fans, celebrity filmmakers come in and do little 10, 12, 15-minute shorts tied into the universe of The Boys.
Kind of like the Marvel What If.
Right. And I'm gonna actually again draw this into VHS because again this is an anthology, whereas VHS was 5 horror stories. This is 8 little animated shorts that again tie into The Boys. This is worse. I would recommend VHS way ahead of this. A lot of these shorts are just stupid. We talked about Aquafina a couple months ago when I reviewed Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
And I said she's actually more tolerable in that than I thought she was going to be. She does one of the shorts in The Boys, Diabolical. 10 minutes of my life I'll never fucking get back.
Ouch.
I don't even want to tell you what's involved in this stupid, idiotic fucking idea she came up with.
Wow. So do not watch Diabolical.
It's hit and miss. Some of them kind of tie in. The last one, they save the best for last because it tells you kind of the origins of Homelander, who we're going to get to the star who plays Homelander here in a second. In real life, not animated short. But the eighth story gives you an insight into the mind of Homelander, and even that is not great, but it's okay. I'm dying to tell you about this Aquafina thing. It's so, all right, I gotta tell you. I don't care if I'm spoiling this. I know this has only been out on Amazon for a week. I think I'm doing everybody a public service.
Avoid the Aquafina. And why do you name yourself after a fucking bottle of water anyway?
She basically does a segment on superpowered shit. Literally. What? Literally. Superpowered shit. I'm telling you, it's one of the dumbest, stupidest things I have ever seen in my life. Now, people who know about the boys, who have got their information and they know about the plot points in the boys, you guys might be able to infer what I mean. I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but let's just say it's a segment about superpowered shit.
That's ridiculous.
It doesn't fit in the boys universe in terms of anything other than she's a hack. She's a hack.
Is she?
She's not funny.
She is a hack, or is she trying to bring out a fetish that she has?
She's just a hack. She's not funny. She's like an Adam Sandberg, a Zach Braff. These people out there who oh my God, Scrubs was so funny. Scrubs was not funny. Brooklyn 911 was not funny, but people latch on to these doofuses, these idiots, because they act like they're funny, and so you go, well, I guess I'm supposed to believe they're funny, because if they think they're funny, then I should think they're funny, because they're celebrities. They're not funny! Adam Sandberg is not funny. Aquafina is not funny. Zach Braff is not funny.
I will say I like Scrubs.
Oh! David!
With the exception of Zach Braff.
Oh, David! Scrubs was not funny. Scrubs was pretentious. That was one of those ones where they go, wink, wink. If you don't think we're funny, then you really don't understand humor.
Outside of Zach Braff, I kind of enjoyed Scrubs.
Again, we have to disagree.
Ted McGinley, come on!
He was so much better. So much better in that horror show.
He made Scrubs work for me. He made Scrubs work for me. He was the reason I watched Scrubs.
Couldn't stand the pretentiousness of Scrubs. I can't stand shows or movies where they go, it was like that piece of shit Netflix movie that luckily I gave up on in half an hour a couple months ago. The one with DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, don't look up.
Yeah, wink, wink. If you don't get it, you're not smart enough and you're not cool enough to understand what we're trying to do here. No, maybe you're just stupid. That's the problem. I can't stand humor like that. I can't stand it. I'm sorry, I can't. That's too much for me. That's the whole Mary Tyler Moore, all that pretentious crap, going even back to the 70s, where we're smarter than you. And if you don't get our humor, then that's on you. Fuck you. Give me Sanford and Son. Give me Happy Days. Give me Welcome Back, Kotter. You didn't like
Mary Hartman? No,
I did not! That's a great example, Dave. That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
That was crap TV.
And how many awards did that fucking thing win?
It was awful. It was bullshit.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Dave helps me out, gives me the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Now, I was really young when Mary Hartman came out.
You were young. I'm younger than you are. And I remember that piece of shit.
But that was the first one. That was really the first one where it was like meta humor. We're supposed to get it, and if you don't get it, you're not smart.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Let's move.
Yeah, there was so much bullshit on that show that it.
Fernwood Tonight, I think, was like the next one that came out after that, and
yeah, that was.
Now I've got one on HBO Max. It just started. Unfortunately, I thought was going to be good. I thought it was going to be funny. I'm going to warn Dave off on this right now. I want to warn all of you off on this because we love what we do in the shadows.
Absolutely love what we do.
We love, for the most part, what Taika Waititi does.
Yes.
New series just started on HBO Max last week called Our Flag Means Death. It's supposed to be a comedy about pirates, gentlemen pirates.
Oh, yes, I saw the previews for it.
Oh,
I was looking forward
breathing,
to it.
God, stay away from it.
Wow.
I got through 2.5 episodes and I was like, I can't do this. It is just so over the top with its, everybody's effeminate. Everybody's, I'm sorry, gay. Everybody's just, the humor again is wink, wink, pretentious. If you don't get it, you're not smart like us. And I couldn't stand it. I was waiting for a little bit more of the cleverness from what we do in the shadows. This is just not clever. It's just not smart. It's just stupid.
Gay as the day is long.
There's nothing funny about it. We're pirates, but we don't kill people. Okay. And it goes episode after episode, pirates, but we don't kill people. Okay. So where's this going to go? It's got no end point that I can see that's going to be any fun. Just a bunch of gay pirates sailing around. Hey, we don't kill people. We debate about whether we should or not. Oh, let's have a spirited debate about whether we should kill people or not, or what our flag should look like. It's just like, Jesus God, it's too much. It's too much.
I hate the pretentious idea of it. That's sad because the previews made it look like it had potential.
I know. That's why I watched it. And I waited through the first. I waited through the second. And I got halfway through the third. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I just can't. All right.
Sadness.
Quick TV and streaming news. And then we move on to Moments of Silence and Dumbasses. Well, I guess we know in the Batman that the Penguin lives because now they're saying there is a Penguin HBO Max series coming starring Colin Farrell, who, of course, is the Penguin in the Batman. Disney Plus says they might add an option in late 2022 to drop prices with advertising. Okay.
Whatever.
A couple other shows on the horizon. One that I think you and I would like coming in April the 15th on Amazon Prime. A Western, a mystery with Josh Brolin.
We like mysteries. We like Westerns.
As long as it's not Power of the Dog.
That's not a fucking Western.
Okay, Elliot. Mr. Elliot. No, but Outer Range is the name of the show. The trailer just dropped today. It does sound very intriguing. It is a series, not a movie.
I like it.
Unlike Reacher, they will only drop a couple episodes at a time.
Just freaking give me the damn thing.
For those of you who love video games, Amazon Prime is also talking about going forward with a series based on God of War.
Ugh. No. Hard pass.
And, of course, AMC cannot let The Walking Dead die. So now...
Ha! Ha! Wait.
I know. Ba-doompa.
What's my Alan Tudyk as Harry the Alien? Ha!
Negan and Maggie are going to star in a spin-off series now that The Walking Dead is ending. Isle of the Dead.
Oh, come on!
Set in New York.
Come on! Seriously, you're putting those two together?
Again, spoiler alert, I guess that means they both survived the end of The Walking Dead. All right, I mentioned The Boys, and I mentioned Homelander, the lead superhero. Anthony Starr, the actor who plays Homelander. Thank God season 3 is already done and filmed and in the books, because he got arrested in Spain for a bar fight.
Oh!
And of
Dude,
course,
you're not Homelander.
Of course, you know what he had to do. And it's just what, I guess it was in the bar, outside of the bar. So it was not just like a one-punch thing.
No, it was
But of course, he had to pull
Do you know who
I am? Dude, seriously, you're in Spain, and I don't even know if anybody in America would actually say, hey, that's Homelander.
No, nobody knows who you are, dumbass.
Wrestling news real quick, and then we move on to Moments of Silence. I have to point this out. Now, the last pay-per-view, last weekend, Revolution, AEW, was crap. No need to talk about that. But Tony Khan, the owner, the CEO of AEW, just announced this past week he has bought Ring of Honor Wrestling. So basically, your number 2 and your number 3 wrestling businesses are now together. So,
is that going to make your...
What's going to happen now with Vince McMahon?
Does it 2 and 3 combined top 1?
Remember, Vince McMahon bought, back in the day, WCW when they were a threat to him.
Right.
So now AEW and Ring of Honor have merged. So interesting.
Intriguing.
Something to keep in mind. All right, I have 3 moments of silence, all 70s and 80s icons from sitcoms. I think I missed this one last week. From the 80s classic Wings, Farrah Fork, who played Alex Lambert.
Yep.
Then going back to the 70s, Johnny Brown, who played Bookman on Good Times.
Yep.
Again, like you and I always say, we're not racist. We used to watch Good Times and What's Happening.
Sanford
and the Jeffersons.
And the Jeffersons. Chico and the Man.
Back when we all actually did think we were equal.
Yeah.
Before the media tore us apart. And then finally, Mindy's father on Mork and Mindy just passed away. Conrad Janis. So moments of silence to all 3 of them. Now, are we ready to play Dumbass or Not? You got one for me?
I've got one for you this week,
and
too.
I got a couple for you.
Do you want to begin since you have more?
All right. Couple I'm carrying over from last week. Our president in the State of the Union address, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Somebody's got to call him out. He calls the Ukrainians the Uranians. And I am stealing this from other people. Many other people have said this, but they were asking, okay, so are they from Uranus?
You know what? That's the perfect thing, because my mom calls him the demented dimwit. And he lives up to that right there.
Yep. And I still see shit to this day where people are still ripping on Trump and ripping on his presidency and saying, "Oh, what a train wreck that was." Have you not seen
now?
Have you not seen the last 14 months?
I'm sorry, but didn't Trump kind of have Putin under some semblance of control? Wasn't the economy thriving?
Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets
Weren't
better.
people working here in America before COVID hit? And even
all I'm going to say is I don't want Trump running again for president.
Hell no! But
I want
somebody
Ron
has
DeSantis from Florida. That man should be president. And we'll get into that another time, but he has said some stuff. He doesn't back down.
No,
he's
he
like
does
Trump
not.
without the Twitter derangement. You know?
Yeah. No. We are not in a better place with our current regime.
No.
We have taken steps backwards. And it's not good.
Of course, political correctness just keeps rearing its ugly head. We just got through Black History Month. And now it's Women's History Month. So, of course, Hershey's has to come out. Now, if you want to buy a Hershey's chocolate bar, everyone has the SHE highlighted.
She.
Last time I checked, he is also part of Hershey's. But God forbid men would ever get acknowledged for anything.
Nope. We're diabolical scumbags. All right. Speaking of misogynistic diabolical scumbags, Harvey Weinstein reared his ugly head again because he got busted for smuggled milk duds. His lawyers illegally brought in milk duds during one of their conferences and gave them to him, and they were found during one of the cell checks.
Jesus Christ. I hate to make comparisons to one that we brought up on our regular Sports Frenzy, but this is almost like Brittany Griner. It's just like, be aware of your surroundings.
The lawyers should know better.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's the dumbass? Harvey for having them, or his stupid fuck lawyers for bringing them to him?
His lawyer should have said, we can't do that, Harvey. All right, this isn't even up for debate because this is just kind of an art thing, but
a fart thing.
We all know Bruce Willis, how far he's fallen in terms of everything he does now is on like
straight to DVD,
straight to demand or DVD. He did a movie in 2020 called Survive the Night with Chad Michael Murray. They have a movie coming out here soon in 2022 called Fortress: Sniper's Eye. The funny thing is, this is how low that Bruce Willis has fallen. The company he's dealing with is so cheap.
How cheap are they?
They use the exact same headshots from the 2020 poster and just basically superimpose them on the 2022 poster for a different movie for both him and Chad Michael Murray.
Oh my God.
You got to look at them side by side, kids. Go out there, look at the movie posters for Fortress: Sniper's Eye and Survive the Night. The exact same poses, face pictures for these two. All right, Dr. Seuss, I'm getting tired of this crap. Leave him alone. Now, the estate of Dr. Seuss is going to allow new Dr. Seuss books out, but only
written by
inclusive, racially diverse writers and artists.
It's the publishing.
Bite my ass! Bite my ass! I hope he comes back and haunts all of you people. He didn't do anything wrong. You can look at some of his drawings and say they were not sensitive for the time. You act like he's fucking Adolf Hitler. Stop it. Stop it. Finally, Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther, idiotic. Goes into a bank in Georgia wearing a mask, of course, COVID. Sunglasses, wants to take $12,000 out of the bank, gets a deposit slip, writes on the back, count this out separately away from people. It needs to be discreet. So a black pregnant teller goes to her boss and says, this guy's trying to rob the bank.
How? No! The teller is an idiot.
You think the teller's an idiot? He shouldn't be writing stuff on the back of a deposit slip saying, count this out separately from people because I don't want them to see how much money I'm taking out. Then go to the bank manager and ask to talk to him and tell him, I'm sorry, I think he's a dumbass.
Both of them, because she overreacted and he didn't handle it the right way.
Say goodnight, Dave.
Good night, Dave.
We'll see you next week, kids.